Hello, Isha. Welcome to EpiFUNNY. This is a new show that I'm doing on this channel, and let's see where it goes. अभी हम लोग सिर्फ मेंटल हेल्थ टॉपिक्स कवर कर रहे हैं, देन लेटर maybe we can do some more casual chatting because that's how things are done. पहले you ask the hard hitting questions, उसके बाद easy
Then
easy
you
वाले. Since this is a mental health podcast, how has your relationship with mental health been across the years? Is my first question, and I think this is the question I'm going to ask everybody now onwards. Because, like, how have you been?
I honestly, if the last time I can really sit and think about it, the only happy memory I have is of school. But yeah, 11, 12 was a lot of transition. And it was like now looking retrospectively, I have realized that 11, 12 में भी कुछ ना कुछ mental टंटे.
झोल था.
But during that
Okay.
time, less aware of the whole subject, or maybe I just didn't want to see it. So I very nicely just ignored it. And eventually it came back in second year of my dental degree. It just,
So this was 2019, right?
yeah. So 11, 12 did okay, but wasn't like doing my best. Then came to college, survived again for 2 years, but then something just kicked. So yeah, it has
So
been
fair.
it's not been like a very straight graph. It's been a doozy.
Topsy-turvy. Okay. But I can assume that 2019 was your worst. And uske baad, after you took help, was it just a linear graph ऊपर ऊपर या वापस problems हुए, क्या हुआ? Like,
In
how has 2019 to 2022 अभी आज की डेट तक, how's the ride been so far?
in November, I could get a sense of things going south, and it's only then I realized, okay, my thinking pattern, something around me, my lifestyle, it's all going to the dogs because this is not adding up. Like, I don't sleep properly, I don't eat properly. It's like people would come up to me and tell me that, buddy, what's happening to you? Like, is there something wrong with you? And then first I tried therapy, went to like 3 different therapists, tried that out, but somehow that didn't work for me. I'm not going to say that it doesn't work for everybody.
Okay,
It's,
so a therapist is a psychologist,
yeah,
a
a
non-clinical psychiatrist. Okay, ठीक है.
psychiatrist basically going to listen to all your problems and is going to guide you about how you can deal with it and how you may alter the way you think, or maybe help you channelize anger or frustration or guilt, whatever, and help you recover from whatever trauma you've been through. So that's the work of a therapist or a psychotherapist. So I did
Okay.
like a couple of months, realized it wasn't working for me. And then by March 2020, it was like really, really not working out for me.
Okay.
So yeah, that's when
Okay.
I realized that it's time to get professional help. So I did. But since now coming to the main question that you asked, that how has the relationship with mental health been, is when you see probably in movies or you read about something on the internet or like something you see on social media, you feel like people who are suffering from mental health issues, once they take their medication or probably start therapy, it's just going to be upwards and onwards. But
Yeah.
like recovery from a mental health issue or any kind of trauma or any mental problem that you're dealing with, the recovery is never linear. Like you will have days at a stretch where you will be feeling the best that you felt in the last couple of years. Like, yes, now I finally come to like equilibrium ho gaya hai, everything is good. Like now nothing will go wrong. And then suddenly one fine day you wake up in the morning and it's just gone black and white. Like one sudden day you're like, you're shit. Like, did I literally jinx it in my head? Like yesterday only I said ki itna acha ja raha hai, last 15 days have been awesome. I haven't cried for the last 15 days. I'm eating properly, I'm sleeping properly, and then one fine day you wake up and shit hits the. So yeah, this happened. I have started taking medication from April 2020, and I'm still on. I still am on psychiatric medications, but yeah, for the first 3 to 4 months, I did very well. But then there came a dip where I felt very frustrated because my situation really wasn't going anywhere. First of all, I really needed to gain weight because I had lost a lot of weight. That wasn't happening for me. I somehow was still having nightmares. I was still having trouble sleeping in the beginning. So with time, that graph is now, I think, somewhere coming to a plateau, but it still dips sometimes.
Okay. So, first of all, I really appreciate that you took your meds and you took them consistently. And obviously, मैंने याद दिलाया था. Thank you. मैं रोज याद दिलाता हूँ. Thank you. मेरे पास अलार्म है. आई एम रियली प्राउड ऑफ यू कि तूने वो मेड्स लिए. एंड प्लीज एक बार एज अ यूजर ऑफ medication, please एक बार advocate कर दे that if you are going through problems, medication is not a bad thing. Why is it such a taboo कि अरे यार तुमने दवाई ले ली मतलब तो गए. मतलब you have hit rock bottom if you're taking medication. Why is that? Like why can't you just take कि तुम्हें बुखार आता है तो पैरासिटामोल तो लेते हो ना. कोई तुम्हें नहीं बोलता अरे यार तू इतना वीक है तुझे पैरासिटामोल लेनी पड़ रही है. तेरा अपने आप बुखार नहीं जा रहा. सो मेरा वही क्वेश्चन है.
Attached to the mental health problem, na? Like people will take medications for their hypertension and their for years and years, and they will not be guilty or any kind of negative emotion attached नहीं रहेगा उससे कि shit you're on medication for BP because यार BP बढ़ा हुआ है दवाई तो लेनी पड़ेगी ना. 1 + 1 = 2, common logic. But somehow when your brain becomes a little diseased and you feel like, buddy, I need those neurochemicals to come back in my brain because I can't do it on my own. And those medications are the only way that your biochemical hole in the brain is going to come back to equilibrium. That's literally how it is. People don't understand. They think दिमागी झोल is almost always तुम अपने मन से सोच रहे हो, तुम अपने मन से बना रहे हो. You're probably just overthinking. Not that big a deal. But you realize when you get diagnosed with a disease, clinical diagnosis literally means that there is some pathology in your mind. It's not just fun and games. They're not throwing around terms like, oh, you're so OCD or I feel so depressed. It's not that. It's clinical depression is not easy to get out of. Any of these mental health problems are not easy to get out of. So if a doctor is prescribing you medications, take it seriously because they help. And I have been on them for the last 3 years. I can say for sure the first 2 months are a little difficult because your body has never experienced any kind of psychiatric drug before. So वो body में जाके settle in होने में time लगता है. You be a little drowsy, maybe a little confused at times. But as in when your body starts metabolizing that drug and you start feeling better, you realize that no, this makes sense. And then you yourself don't want to give up on the medicine. But then most people का क्या है with like allopathy नहीं बोलना चाहिए. We should call it evidence-based medicine. But
Medicine.
Yeah, medicine. But with basic medicines का क्या problem होता है? Most people are like long-term side effects रहेंगे यार. Long-term side effects. तो तुम्हारे 15 साल जो तुमने हाइपरटेंशन की गोलियां खाई, ये डायबिटीज की गोलियां खाई,
एक्चुअली पैरासिटामोल से भी होते हैं साइड इफेक्ट्स.
are literally consuming painkillers on a daily basis. I really don't think that is going to cause trouble. And this thing which is actually helping you get a normal stability of your, mental stability and just helping you function on a daily basis. If मतलब तुमने ले भी ली तो एंड वैसे भी these drugs don't last that long. मैं 3 साल से ले रही हूँ because my problems are of a different kind and I have like multiple things going on. But I have seen people take medication for a small amount of time and get a lot of like improvement out of it.
And also, I think like the important thing she is missing is कि वो हर 30-40 days में एक review के लिए जाती है. And if she's doing well, her medication is weaned off. If she's doing
Yeah.
badly, तो
Yeah.
medication थोड़ा बढ़ाते हैं. But there is a consistent regulation to that medicine. ऐसा नहीं है कि खाए जा रहे हैं और पता ही नहीं चल रहा है और फिर side effects हो रहे हैं. A lot of the CNS depressants जो होते हैं, they can cause drowsiness and stuff. बट उसके हिसाब से डोज तुम्हारा टाइट्रेट करते हैं तुम्हारे डॉक्टर्स. योर डॉक्टर्स आर ऑलवेज ओनली अ कॉल अवे.
Yeah.
You can call them anytime.
So my
They
doctor
will
is
reply soon.
available like 6 days out of the week.
Okay.
And he generally sets my appointments depending upon what he thinks my condition is like at that particular time. Like if he thinks that I've been doing very well for the last 30 days and probably आगे survey की जरूरत नहीं है, he tightens my dose to a slightly more, conservative dose, and then he tells me to come after like 50 or 60 days because now he thinks कि ठीक है, इससे बात करके लग रहा है that she's got a hold of her situation. But at the same time, like recently when I went to my psychiatrist and I really broke down because that was just a bad day. But yeah, so then he changed my next appointment to just 20 days because then he increased the dosage of my drug and he said that, okay, now let's see what this changes in your daily behavior and then let's see what the progress is like. So yeah, you're you have to make sure that you communicate with your psychiatrists properly because they are the ones who truly understand what you're going through.
Okay.
किसी से बात कर लो, peers, parents, they can get a vague idea, but your psychiatrist is best equipped to deal with your problems.
Okay. So अभी तूने peers parents बोला ही है. So let's come to that. कि were parents supportive? And if they were, yes, well and good. If they were not, what did it take you to convince them, or how did you communicate basically कि I need to go to a doctor or I'm not feeling that well? Like how is that process? Because ये बोल तो सकते हैं कि reach out. Like how do you reach out? Let's break down that process. कि जो suppose कोई unaware भी है, like especially ये अपने लिए नहीं है, right? We already know कि हमें क्या चाहिए. It's for the outsiders. इनको नहीं पता है कि approach कैसे करें. So methodically बता मुझे like how did your parents react, and parents छोड़, how did your peers react? दोनों, पहले parents then peers.
So again, like I started going through these problems. My first go-to was like, constantly seeking reassurance कि नहीं तेको कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, it's just probably a phase, it will pass. So you remember I used to talk to you, I used to talk to Tanaya, like other friends also. Then they were like, but then eventually a month passed and it was not getting better. So when I was doing therapy, again, I felt like I was hitting a dead end. And my parents were like, they had really put a lot of hopes in therapy because at that point, they didn't know any better. None of us did. And they're like, कि हाँ ठीक है, जो whatever helps you, we'll do it. Whatever helps you, we'll do it. They've been very sweet. They have been very understanding. Yeah, there have been times when they were frustrated, but I understand their frustration because seeing your child in so much pain and discomfort cannot be easy. So that, but yeah, धीरे धीरे they saw that I'm not getting anything out of therapy as well. Then we eventually spoke to a general physician who made us go to our psychiatrist. And when I went to the psychiatrist, my psychiatrist is actually a very nice psychiatrist. If anybody wants, I hope not, but if anybody does, please, you can approach me. But yeah, so he basically first sat with me alone, spoke to me in like proper depths and details of what I was going through, what happened, when it happened, all my symptoms, everything. Then he would ask my mom to come separately, would talk to her dad separately, would talk to her, ask about all my family relations, if anybody in my previous generations had any psychological problems, everything, like a proper thorough checkup. And as and when we spoke to him, my parents also became comforted because he has a way of explaining things that I couldn't, because I knew I was going through a lot of shit. Like मेरे दिमाग में turmoil हमेशा था. But
Correct.
because I was so full of guilt and shame and paranoia, how will I explain? How will I tell people if they will understand me? If they don't understand me, then what happens? Most of the times I couldn't get the whole thing out. But when
Yeah.
I told it to him, and then he eventually translated it in a way that could be like understandable to my parents, that is when they were like, "Acha, ye ho raha hai." So then they were like, suddenly they were very sensitive. They were totally like on board. Ki, "ठीक है, whatever you need, we'll do it. How many ever times you have to go to the psychiatrist, we will take you. No problem." So yeah, it's because I have very supportive parents. I think this journey has been easy for me. And see, approaching ka kya hai? It's never that easy. The day I broke the news to my parents that I really, really don't feel happening to me, it was a cry fest. I sat down in front of them. There was just 2 hours a discussion. I was wailing the whole time. My parents were like, "We don't understand what's happening to her." So approaching your parents at first becomes confusing because first of all, they haven't dealt with anything of that sort in their generation. You have to think from their point of view also. क्योंकि what they will say is हमारी generation में तो बच्चों को ये सब नहीं होता था. अब ठीक है, होता भी होगा. But people at that time weren't probably as aware. They didn't go to doctors to get a mental health checkup. They never actually got a proper diagnosis. So maybe there were people who had a lot of mental health issues, but they never approached anyone and got the right kind of treatment. So so called तब की सोसाइटी में पागल है, ये अलग है, ये weird है, या ना थोड़ा कम है दिमाग से, like all of those things were said, but actually those might have been like real issues back then. So they never thought that it's that prevalent. The same logic कि बाजू वाले को हो सकता है but मुझे नहीं हो सकता. This can happen to someone else but this won't happen to me. So but when it happened, they spoke to my doctor. They were comforted after the first couple of meetings, and then they were like, "Chalo, ठीक है, now we've got some uh, we see some light at the end of the tunnel. पहले it was just all dark. Now there's some hope."
मैं एक काउंटर दूं.
बोल.
Is it that this generation is hyper aware? Is
Sometimes.
it because you are hyper aware? Because you can Google your symptoms.
Oh, Google has not been.
Google कर सकते हो. Instagram पे if you एंजाइटी वाला तेरा पूरा जो फीड रहेगा वो एंजाइटी पोस्ट्स ये सभी आने वाला है. That's how
And
the algorithm works. And you do Google stuff, okay?
that shit. I have plenty of times. Like that was my main, like, again, breaking down, coming full disclosure, I am diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and OCD. So basically, when I was uh, OCD का मेरा main problem वही था. I was super obsessive about certain things, and because I would not get any kind of relief, I would look for some reassurance कि नहीं, what I'm doing is right. So that reassurance came in several ways. And one of the ways at that point of time was Googling things to understand whether or not what I'm feeling is normal or this is abnormal or whatever. Like just to get some peace of mind, ki, yaar, where am I? Is this okay? Not okay? Just to understand. So I did that a lot. And I got yelled at by my doctor. He's like, you're in medical. You're already in medical sciences, are studying dentistry. Would you really like if a patient comes up to you reading random information on a random article or page of internet and just being like, I think I have this problem. Do you really think that has any kind of weight in a clinical scenario? That's when I realized that information has become very easy to get, but people don't most people also don't understand the language that has been used in these articles and things that they read on Google. Like there are words that only people who have either studied medicine or have some relation to the medical line can understand. कभी कभी लोगों को नहीं समझ में आता है एंड देर स्टिल लाइक हाँ मेरे को ये हो रहा है, मेरे को ये हो रहा है. I'm like buddy, be completely educated first, उसके बाद try to compare your symptoms to what's happening to you or not
हाँ,
happening.
क्योंकि इंग्लिश पढ़नी आती है ना.
इंग्लिश पढ़
इंग्लिश पढ़नी आती है पर अकल नहीं है. लिटरेट है, एजुकेटेड नहीं है.
yeah, so just like
थ्री
form,
इडियट्स.
then go in that direction. Just don't start panicking when you read the first article. Oh my god, I'm depressed. Oh my god, I'm anxious. First, sit, think what is going on in your head, what is happening to you. Read up everything if you want to read up, but don't go to the doctor and uglo in front of them कि मेरे को ये भी हो रहा है, मेरे को ये भी हो रहा है. I think I have this symptom, I have that symptom, because the doctors hate it. Trust me, they will not buy it. And my doctor specifically said that stop using Google so much. That is not going to give you answers. That is going to make you even more confused than you already are. And it just builds your frustration because पढ़ने के लिए तो there are n number of things. तुम कितना हर दिन नया आर्टिकल आएगा वो चीज पे, हर दिन तुम सोचोगे कि ओ देयर इज न्यू इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक, आई विल रीड, आई विल गेट रीअश्योर्ड कि हाँ मेरे दिमाग में जो हो रहा है वो सब सही है या नहीं है. नेक्स्ट डे द सेम rigmarole again. So yeah, you really have to, like, the main part of getting out of this was controlling your urge to not constantly go towards your compulsions ki mat stop, this is going to lead you down a really bad rabbit hole, so just come back.
दवाई शवाई हो गई, तुमने दवाई ले ली, बट दवाई से सिर्फ काम बनता है नहीं.
Nope.
और भी
दवाई
बहुत पापड़ बेलने पड़ते हैं.
50% of the जीत रहे हो तुम, अगर तुम दवाई ले रहे हो तो there's still like 50% left.
हाँ, तो अभी अपन सेकंड 50% की बात करते हैं. तेरा कॉलेज, तेरा सब प्रॉब्लम कॉलेज से ओरिजिनेट हुआ. इट
Yeah.
वाज एकेडमिक स्ट्रेस. अभी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि तू दवाई ले रही है बट तुझे रोज कॉलेज तो जाना पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
You still have to fight that battle every day.
Hmm.
So what are the non-medical, non-druggy उड़ता पंजाब, non-उड़ता पंजाब things
Uh,
that you try?
One thing, in my opinion, which I think you will also agree with, is you have to constantly look for something which will engage you creatively. Like, it's creatively satisfying.
Like, how do you fight that battle every day? How do you go to college and say, "Teri maa ki aankh"?
I actually do. I actually
You
do.
don't say it. You don't say it out loud. You just say it in your head.
If
You
only
just you
was
just say fuck you to everybody in your head, and then you're like, ah, Sant.
yeah. I've learned to do that, but still it comes out on my face like so. That
Yeah.
resting bitch face is always present somehow. So yeah, as I said, engage yourself creatively, whatever that can be, drawing, painting, writing, just whatever. Just at the end of the day, do one activity that makes you feel like, today I've done, which is not academically related, which is not related to my job, or this is just doing something to rejuvenate me. This is just helping me cope with my inner self. Like,
Correct.
I have been told to exercise, but I don't do that. Yeah, but I should. I should. So that, and in daily life, I think
You have
I
started journaling now.
started journaling now. Yes, that I was just about to say that on the days when I would feel really, really low,
Mhm.
I have like a pen and paper with me. So I made like a notes ka tab in my phone, like enter whatever I'm feeling at that point in time. So it kind of helps you understand your graph as well. How many days out of a month you have been feeling bad, how many days you've been feeling okay. So kahin na kahin it helps you monitor your own growth. And when after that bad day is over, when you go back and read all of that on a good day,
Hmm. Hmm.
you actually very happy. You're like, shit, man, I overcame that day. That day was really tough. Like, I was really going through something bad, but I coped up. I somehow I survive. Basically, you survive a bad day, and you're like anything that doesn't kill you stronger. Like वो वाला mentality हो जाता है कि यार ये
यो थोड़ा सा रैपिड कर लेते हैं, मेरे रील के लिए हो जाएगा मेरे पास. Okay. What are 3 myths that Isha Laghate wants to bust about mental health?
mental health is not just about you know anxiety or depression. There are more things to it. It's very much
Okay.
and it's if you're dealing with it, it's really tough. I hope you feel better soon. Second one
Okay.
going to be again, as I said before, if you started on your path to recovery, don't think that it's going to be a linear path. It's going to be pura zigzag graph. You will not find consistency. It will take a couple of months, maybe more or less for some people. But mujhe at least the first 3 to 4 months lage to find a balance and get to that plateau. So yeah, don't think it's a straight upward wala graph. And last one would be medication lena is okay. There's no shame in it. Go for it. And if you're taking medications, you don't have to go and chilla ke batane ki bhi zarurat nahi. If you feel like, okay, it's something that I don't want to share with the world, that's completely your choice. But दूसरे लोगों के डर से not going in that direction at all would be a big mistake.
Okay. तो रैप अप करते हैं. आपको अगर मुझे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना होगा तो पूछ सकते.
There was a certain time when you went off medication and then you had
Ooh.
to redo that whole regimen. So what
Meditation.
once you have fallen off the wagon, how does it feel when you have to go back or climb back
First
on?
वापस मेडिकेशन शुरू हुआ, which was almost exactly 1 year ago, I think. Yeah, 11 months back. I was doing super great यार, पतला भी हो गया था, I was doing well. पर फिर पता नहीं, it just got too much. And तब तुम खुद से डिसअपॉइंटेड होते हो, तुम में खुद पे बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा होता है. इसलिए मैं बोल रहा था कि मम्मी को बताऊंगा ही नहीं इस बार, कि मतलब हाउ कैन यू डिसअपॉइंट एनीबॉडी अगेन एंड अगेन एंड अगेन.
Yeah.
तो मेरे लिए उसकी वजह से वो डिलेमा आ गया था कि वो एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं हो रहा था मुझे कि यार आई वाज डूइंग सो ग्रेट, अभी वापस कैसे, वापस स्क्वायर वन पे आ गए क्या, वापस हार गए, अभी तो इतना अच्छा जीते थे,
I
वापस हार गए, पूरा पूरा गिर गए, इतनी सीढ़ियां चढ़ी थी, पूरा गिर गए, तो अभी कैसे होगा, नहीं होगा मुझसे वापस चढ़ना. सो आई fortunately I did not miss out on any step, but I did take a break. I went home. फिर घर जाके I went to अमरावती, जहाँ पे मेरी मौसी रहती है, who is my psychiatrist. तो यूजुअली हम लोग फोन पे बात करते हैं, एंड वी सॉर्ट इट आउट ऑन द फोन. आई एम ओके टॉकिंग ऑन द फोन. ऐसे मुझे ऐसे ज्यादा बात करना पसंद नहीं है. वाइल डूइंग अ पॉडकास्ट सेइंग मुझे ज्यादा बात करना पसंद नहीं है. तो मौसी के पास गया. Maushi said it's okay. And you've just fallen one step behind. You have not gone back to square one. That's what you have to remember.
yeah, you've
तुम
just
तुमने अगर तुमने 10 steps आगे बढ़े थे, तो तुम एक स्टेप पीछे आए हो.
you still have all that recovery with you that you,
तुम एक स्टेप ही पीछे आए हो, तुम 9 आगे चल रहे हो अभी भी. तो वो 9 पे फोकस करो, आगे आगे बढ़ते रहो, जमेगा. फिर तब से चल रही है दवाइयाँ. एंड ऑल्सो आई थिंक द सेकेंड टाइम जब मुझे हुआ, आई रियलाइज्ड माई प्रॉब्लम मच मोर बेटर देन आई हैड रियलाइज्ड इट द फर्स्ट टाइम इट हैपेंड. सेकेंड टाइम आई वाज लाइक कि हाँ, मुझे आई डू गेट अ सेंस ऑफ व्हाट्स हैपनिंग टू मी. एंड व्हेन यू नो व्हाट्स हैपनिंग टू यू, प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट आ जाता है, तो यू कैन वर्क टुवर्ड्स द सोल्यूशन. अगर तुम्हें तो पता ही नहीं कि तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम क्या है, इफ यू कैन डिफाइन योर प्रॉब्लम, यू कैन नेवर अप्रोच द सोल्यूशन. इट्स जस्ट सिम्टोमैटिक ट्रीटमेंट.
yeah.
Okay, Isha, thank you so much for joining us. on the second
Thank
podcast that we have done. This is कितना 2.5 साल बाद कर रहे हैं हम लोग ये
Yeah, the
2.5
last
साल
a.m. in the morning.
या लास्ट वाज 3 AM in the morning. मैं देता हूँ मैं आपको आपका बहुत आभार आने के लिए शो पर and thanks for sharing your experience with the whole wide world, which
Perfect.
is 10 people. And please follow Gogo TV. If you like this content, follow now, please. Outro.